The tragedy in Maine weighs on everyone tonight, but for a Greensboro woman, it's personal.
It was devastating. I was trying to hold it in.
Hear how she reacted when she learned her hometown was the scene of a massacre.
Hundreds of workers are settling in as Toyota makes progress on its battery plant.
I felt like if I would have missed this opportunity, I would have missed out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Meet some of the workers that will reshape the Triad.
It's weird, but a hot October weekend is on the way. Get ready for the temperature change.
And a creative Halloween display by a Greensboro family goes all out for the holiday. WFMY News 2 at 11 starts right now.
The horrific shooting in Lewiston, Maine has impacted all of us differently. The natural reaction, of course, is shock and sorrow. Good evening, I'm Chet Silber.
And I'm Sydney Moore. The emotion is much deeper for Kylie Furlan. She grew up in Lewiston and still has family in that area. She told WFMY News 2's Daniel Cruz she didn't want to believe the news was true.
Kylie Furlan lives in Greensboro and woke up on Wednesday night to headlines of a mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine, an incident that happened in a place she knows all too well.
I could tell he was at the bowling alley. You know, there's bowling pins right there on that door. And then they showed the outside, and it still has spare time on the top. And I'm like, I know right where that is.
Furlan grew up in Lewiston. She says she knows exactly where the incidents happened on Wednesday night. In fact, her family has gone to the Spare Time Recreation bowling alley countless times during the 23 years she lived in Maine.
It's a great place to just hang out and have fun with some friends, but Schmengi's has been around a lot, I think a little longer. I'm not entirely sure of when they opened, but it's a bar and grill. You can go play darts, pool, cornhole. So there's always a lot of people, a lot of things going on.
Furlan still has friends and family in Maine, including her brother who lives in South Paris, about 30 minutes west from where the deadly shooting took place.
It was devastating. I was trying to hold it in. I was trying to contact friends. I was trying to contact family. The crisis response on Facebook where you can check into an event that may have happened and mark yourself safe. I was watching that like a hawk for friends and family to post.
Luckily, all of her friends and family were safe, but Furlan now joins a growing list of people who can no longer say something this tragic won't happen in their hometown.
You know, you hear about Sandy Hook, you hear about Columbine, you hear about the churches that have been shut up in Aurora, the movie theater, and you're like, that's never going to happen. And those people said the same thing. So my thoughts are, if it can happen there, it can happen anywhere.
Organizations such as the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team will be sending volunteers to Lewiston to pray and support those in the community. Furlan is confident that her hometown will come together and move past this unthinkable tragedy.
Lewiston's going to be a strong community. We've powered through a lot of minor things. We're going to power through this. And, you know, we're going to come together. We're Lewiston strong, and we always have been, and we always will be.
Daniel Cruz, WFMY News 2.
Investigators have searched all over, even crossing into Canada, but there is still no sign of the suspect tonight. Armored units have been parked outside Robert Card's home for hours this evening. Investigators eventually said they were just doing their due diligence and weren't sure if he was actually there. As the search continues, people in Lewiston face an impossible task, trying to move forward. We heard from one man who was inside the bowling alley when the shots rang out and lost a friend in the massacre.
Every time I close my eyes, I visualize myself attacking him.
Investigators say the suspect is a trained firearms instructor with a military background.
Well, Alaman's Burlington School says it found a student with a loaded gun today. The district says it received a tip at Southeast Alamance High School. Then within minutes found the student with the gun. The district says it has no tolerance for weapons on campus. State law requires schools to suspend students for a year if they are found with a gun.
Today we heard from the teenage girl kidnapped from her High Point home at Knife Point. She says the suspect is her ex-boyfriend. We spoke to her today with her parents' blessing. She just asked that we didn't show her face on camera. 17-year-old Alondra Flores says this was a case of domestic violence. She says she tried to break off the relationship several times.
To be honest, I think it's because I just didn't want nothing to do with him anymore, and I guess he didn't accept that. I was still in shock, like I don't know where he was taking me.
Investigators eventually found her and Francisco Arevalo in Virginia. Flores has a fractured spine but should be okay. Arevalo faces several charges, including attempted murder.
The Toyota battery plant keeps giving the Triad a jolt. Originally, the company announced the facility was going to be worth more than $1 billion. Now it's closer to $6 billion. And next week, the company has more news that could be even bigger. As we wait, WFMY News 2's Julie Luck spoke with Toyota workers who jumped at the chance to live and work in North Carolina.
So far, I absolutely love it here.
April Mason is getting settled in as a new Triad resident. She moved here from Alabama a few months ago to help the new Toyota battery plant get off the ground. With nearly 30 years with Toyota, she admits she likes change and challenge.
I love to learn new things, and this is all new. There is never a dull moment. My life has never gone faster, but it's all good.
Amanda Waugh moved to North Carolina at about the same time.
So were you one of the people who said, sign me up?
Yes, I was. I raised my hand, volunteered, made some phone calls. How can I get in the door?
She worked at a Toyota plant in West Virginia where she was born and raised. She relocated to move up in the company and live in a new and exciting place.
So you get seasons, you have some trees, you have a little bit of mountains. So I feel like I'm still in West Virginia because of the environment, but there's just so many more opportunities and so many things to do here.
April and Amanda are among Toyota Battery Manufacturing's first 200 workers. Half of those employees are from out of state, itching to be part of the growing electric battery industry.
We've had people lined up. As soon as they heard North Carolina, hands started to go up. We started to get emails, pick me, I'm interested.
They're working at a temporary site in Greensboro while construction continues at the Greensboro-Randolph megasite in Liberty. It's nearly 1,900 acres, the size of 1,400 football fields. Also transforming is the town of 2,600 residents, with some new restaurants and businesses and more on the way.
So your phone is ringing off the hook?
All the time.
There is so much interest, the town had to hire a new staffer.
But whenever you get that many development questions, it's too much for one person to do.
Liberty's mayor, Fillmore York, gave me a tour of one of the future developments.
So all this land, this is what, 300 acres?
Yep.
The land that's about 2 miles away from the megasite is slated to become a neighborhood with at least 150 homes. Housing is needed for the 2,100 people who will work at the plant.
How different will this town look?
It'll be a change that they've never seen before, most likely.
Some of the Toyota workers already live in Liberty.
We see a lot of strange faces, which is good, which is very good.
Others are scattered across the Triad. Amanda lives in High Point, April is in Summerfield, and so is Michael McField.
I felt like if I would have missed this opportunity, I would have missed out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, because this is the biggest change in the automotive industry in over 100 years.
Change is what Michael, his wife, and 3 children needed. A new beginning after his oldest son died in a car crash at 18.
I think moving here kind of helped us through the healing process. We're still healing, and I think moving here, it kind of helped us with a fresh start. Toyota and the state of North Carolina kind of put their arms around us and help us heal and grow through that moment as well.
All 3 continue to grow within the company. Altogether, they have nearly 50 years under their belts. The Toyota battery workers are bringing experience, new energy, and staying power.
It was just like putting on a comfortable pair of tennis shoes, like this is it, this is where I belong, and I'll stay here till I retire.
Crews are making progress on 3 buildings right now. Equipment is being installed in one, another is getting a roof, and steel is going up on the 3rd. Toyota says it is on track to start making batteries in early 2025. As for the big announcement that's coming up on Tuesday morning, WFMY News 2 will be there.
And PTI Airport is another place that has seen a lot of development. Boom Supersonic will create thousands of jobs at a new site. The airport could just be getting started. Our news partners at the Triad Business Journal report that PTI bought 10 acres of land. The airport has added several new plots of land recently in anticipation for more growth.
New tonight, the North Carolina Zoo is investigating after a beloved polar bear died while being transported. The zoo says Peyton died this week on his way to the zoo in Louisville, Kentucky. His care team found him non-responsive about 2 hours into the trip from Asheboro. Workers took him to a nearby vet where doctors confirmed he had died. An early exam showed evidence of heart disease and a tumor. The zoo says Peyton was nearly 20 years old.
A North Carolina congressman plans to leave Washington to run for state attorney general. Democrat Jeff Jackson launched his campaign today. He represents the Charlotte area. Jackson says redistricting has made it impossible for him to win re-election. He's likely to run against Triad Congressman Dan Bishop, a Republican. Bishop represents Davidson and Montgomery counties.
Well, Tim, I hope you didn't put away the shorts yet. It sounds like you're going to need them this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you.
It is a full summer mode, Chad. You know, we'll have some days in the summertime where you have highs in the 80s. That's where we're going by Saturday and Sunday, and it even really starts tomorrow. So, take it or not, like it or not. Here it comes, right? Let me show you the sunset we had across the area. Many of you were sending us in some pictures. We'll have a few of those in a couple more minutes, but this is the view from many of our different weather cameras across the region. And notice how those slight level of clouds that we had added some good color to your evening sky here on this Thursday night. Temperatures remain very mild. Right now, we're in the 60s in Greensboro, and Winston-Salem, you're sitting at 64. It's only 57 in Burlington. Remember, just a couple of nights ago, at this time of night, we were showing you numbers that were already in the 30s in some areas. So this has really been a change. Because of our southerly wind, we're going to keep that around. Morning temperatures, they will be in the 50s for tomorrow. So it's not very cool early on, and it'll warm up. We're in the upper 70s, right around 80. In fact, that will be my forecast for your Friday. A high of 80 degrees. At the end of October. Not just tomorrow, we'll do it for the weekend as well. Coming up, I'll tell you though why a cold front, and a real one, is on the way. We'll show you when it gets here.
Today marks 30 years of Panthers football. 3 decades filled with highs like the Cam Newton years and lows like the past few years. Tonight, we're turning back the clock and walking through every moment that turned this team into what it is.
NFL football found a new home in the Carolinas. The Panthers became the league's newest franchise, along with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Thank you.
The team looked to become a household name. The Panthers' first action came in football heaven, Canton, Ohio.
And then Reich lofts one into the arms of Christian.
The young team quickly joined the elite. It came 1 game short of a Super Bowl appearance in year 2. The team's first ever draft pick, Kerry Collins, led the way. Tough times laid ahead before the Cardiac Cats surged back to the top. A new rally cry for the Panthers as Sam Mills battled cancer, a message that nearly propelled the team to football immortality.
Looks good.
A Super Bowl loss that stung for years. The excitement of the years with Steve Smith and Julius Peppers lingered after that close call. But the highs of Jake Delhomme and Muhsin Muhammad quickly faded. The team cleared house for a new regime.
The Carolina Panthers select Cam Newton, quarterback, Auburn.
A new quarterback to pair with its new head coach, Riverboat Ron Rivera. Cam Newton often played superhero with Greg Olsen. Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis added some thump on their side of the ball.
Cam Newton, he's the man, and we definitely Panthers fans up in here. We're dabbing on him.
The superstar eventually lost his glimmer. A rough showing in the Super Bowl, followed by injuries he could never seem to shake. The struggles on the field quickly turning into disgrace off of it. Team founder Jerry Richardson selling the team after a scandal. David Tepper then bought the team for $2.27 billion.
Whatever was, this is now.
The team again decided to start from scratch.
You know, I'll be fired, and that's just the way it is.
Those teams never generated the highs of the Panthers' past. 3 failed years with Matt Rule, a difficult decision to part ways with star running back Christian McCaffrey. The player once viewed as the new hope now wears a different jersey. Another new era started up this year.
And then to think I get to come back and do it as the head coach, that's insane to me. So let's go.
The Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young.
Another restart, now struggling to get off the ground. the hope of the franchise on Bryce Young's shoulders. The team focused on making the next 30 years better than the first.
You already know that this year hasn't gone to plan for the Panthers. The team is the only one left without a win. We'll break down how they plan to change that this weekend, coming up in sports.
Few holidays allow for as much expression as Halloween. A Greensboro family certainly makes a statement for the holiday.
Yeah, we'll take you through their enormous display that gets bigger each year. That's next.